Happy Tuesday. How's it going, everyone? We're here. We're live. We're working on stuff, in theory. I mentioned this week is refactor week. That's probably most of what we're going to be doing. As far as what? Depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. I've been doing a lot of code refactoring. I tried setting it up last night, the bulk of it. Well, we did some of it on Friday. I tried to finish it up last night. It's not working. It's writing out the wrong data to the tile maps. I don't totally want to figure out why or how or what's going on with that at the moment. So we might do something else. Just sanity check that the regular way we're doing this works still. If I could say the purpose of the refactor, it's so that we can support having multiple buffers, multiple block buffers, writing out to the same tile map data. Hey, Diginanigans, happy Tuesday. I know, I've already had quite a week, I feel, and it's only Tuesday. So, that's where I'm at right now. How are you doing? All right, sanity check. We'll just run it the old functions here just to make sure they still work and I didn't change something else. All right, seems like they still work. Seems good, seems good. I don't see any problems here. Okay, good sign. However, if I try to switch to the new shit, that new, we're gonna get a tile map format data error. Not bad, nothing eventful. That's a nice way to start the week, I'll tell you. Yeah, so unsupported tile map data format 50. So what I can tell you right now exactly what's happening. It's passing the coordinates in. It's passing coordinates in place of tile map format. Which means it's packing the data wrong. Which is weird because the data gets packed in here. And this function literally hasn't been rewritten. So it relies on an array of counts. The only possibility is that we are just absolutely destroying this because we've actually swapped here. I'm gonna try one thing. I'm gonna try something one time. I turned counts into a member variable, but I think that's a mistake. I think that's literally causing all the problems. I turned counts into a member variable in like a very lazy attempt to like avoid quite so much memory. Oh. Well, we're declaring it here. Counts. Yeah, here's the only thing is, if we do it... Oh. I think I found the problem. We weren't actually doing what I thought we were doing. Challenge your assumptions, y'all. So let's find... So you're literally the only usage of the counts function. For the counts thing here. Okay, well that's silly me. Let's see if that works. It probably doesn't. There's probably something else. Oh. Maybe it just works. Oh, you know, I probably didn't change. No, it probably just works. Okay, well. We're on our way. Cool, cool, cool. You know, I should have a little helpful thing that lets you know if you're on a racer mode or not. Maybe like a big X shows up or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'd make an eraser. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you got the eraser on most of the time. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so all of this seems to be working normally. Ooh. That's gross. Why does that not work? All right, so there's one problem with the triple door Atlas coordinates, or the division in the new code. Okay, easy to find. Pheasant SC2, thank you so much for the sub. 8 months. Have a great stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hope your finals week is going okay. All right. Okay. We're doing all right. We can get rid of this old function, this 600 line function. The update grid tile map data. We have to decide whether we want this to remain like this, like a separate pass. Okay, so where do we think the problem is? The problem's in the door. It's specifically with the triple doors lower division. Just the triple door. So let's go to derived door layer data. So we've split it into layers. And these don't necessarily need to be different functions, but I kind of like it because we can just be very clear about whether we're supporting or whether we want a given layer to be included in for a given buffer. I don't know why we would care at that granularity, but it's kind of nice. And then we have the cutaway as a separate step. And notice we don't need to use the span. And then by the time we get to generate tile cell data, we are not referencing the block buffer or the span anymore, which is literally the span that contains all of the block data. I wish it was easier to do this, but if we didn't pass the span in, we'd be getting it all the time. And that's one of the only things that kind of costs pickup. So, yeah, so it's easier. It's 6 function calls instead of 1. Update tile map data entirely. Gives us a little more functionality, so we could pump in multiple block buffers and then generate the tile cell data off of multiple sets of block buffers. We could even pass different parameters into the cutaway tile cell data, which is what I want to do. So we'd basically give this different instructions. So like we could have a selection, something that's part of the preview block. We'll cut it away differently than we would something just normally in place, which will be cool. So when we copy and paste something, we'll be able to, like, if you copy a room, maybe it'll hide all the walls of the room or something like that. Or it'll hide the floor above, or I don't know. We can come up with our own set of rules that for different kinds of things, which is helpful. So our problem is here. Specifically the triple door. This function is kind of a nightmare. The other functions are a lot cleaner. The derived bulk layer data stuff, or the derived deck layer stuff. All of these derived functions are really straightforward comparatively, compared to what they used to be, which is like down here. This is where we had the layer by layer passes, which I do like, but we did simplify it a little bit. we condense them down into each layer type. So all the deck layers are being done in one pass, and all the bulk layers are being done in another pass, and all the doors are being done in another pass. The doors is kind of the most complicated one by far. Hey, Chill Imp. Thank you for the hydrate. That's a good idea. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. So we have a problem with the triple door. Case axes dot. It doesn't seem to matter the case of the door axis. Well, because for one thing, the behavior is basically the same. We just refer to a different block. So x-axis doors, we have y components. That's correct. Y-axis doors. So what do you think is more likely to... It's got to be the division here, right? So I think the division is just being set wrong. The division is like, lets us know what part of a multi-part door we're talking about. And for some reason, that's incorrect. All right, hide this, hide this. Let's confer with how we do that down here. The thing is, we used to do it way down here, which I didn't like because it meant we had to hold onto the block buffer for a long time. And it was unnecessary. So if the negative x neighbor has a door, then we're the lower division. If the positive x neighbor has a door, then we're the upper division. And we move the atlas coords. That's it. So lower doesn't change. Upper does change. So let's look at that. That's probably where we're seeing the issue. Chill Imp, you're watching Twitch to procrastinate instead of practicing game dev because you're tired. How about me? How am I? I'm good. I'm busy. I'm already busy. It feels... I've had an intense couple of months. I did a GodotCon Boston last week. I went to Boston for the first North American Godot conference, and it was really good. But I've just been jammed at my day job trying to catch up. Hopefully we don't have a lot of we don't have much more traveling for a while. Hoping between GDC and March and GodotCon, this like month and a half or like 2 month span has just been so crazy. But procrastination sounds good. That sounds good. When you say practice game dev, do you have a project in mind, or are you just doing tutorials and stuff? All right, negative y, negative x, negative x. So if for a triple door and our negative y block has a door, but the positive y block does not have a door, we're the lower division, right? Is that not what we said when we look down here? I love this little peekaboo thing. I keep forgetting that I can do it, or I can just take a peek. When you're in these big, like 1,000-something line scripts, that's so helpful. All right, case. Let's go find the triple door case. Case triple. All right, so if negative y has a door, oh, if the negative y has a door, we're the upper. If positive y has a door, we're the lower. Okay. I think I flipped these on accident. So no negative, yes positive. Yeah, I think I accidentally just wrote these in the wrong order. Let me double check. You have a project in mind? You try to avoid tutorials as much as possible. I tend to agree with you. I don't like to do a tutorial just to do a tutorial. I'll do a tutorial if I need to figure out how to do something for a project and it seems like a succinct way to learn it. But yeah, I also don't like just doing tutorials just for the sake of it. What kind of project do you have in mind? All right, so negative y has a door. Or the upper, if positive y has a door. Is that right? I keep looking and I keep getting the wrong answer. Or I keep getting different answers. Is this different for a given side? I don't think so. Positive x has a door. Negative x has a door. So ny upper, py lower, nx lower, px upper. Okay, so the axis does matter. Somehow we're doing it wrong in both circumstances. That actually doesn't make sense to me that the axis matters, but maybe if I look at the tile set, that'll become obvious why that's the case. Let's look at the door layers. Triple door layer. All right. So the positive y is the lower. The negative, or the positive x is the lower. The negative x neighbor is the upper. And that requires an offset. Okay, but what if we're mirrored? If we're mirrored, so that's for x. So negative x is upper, positive x is lower. If we're mirrored, no, it's the same. The negative x is the upper and the positive, the negative y is the upper, and the positive y is the lower. Oh, we're talking about neighbors. We're not talking about ourselves. So if we have a door at our positive y, which is this one, then we're considered the lower door. If we have a neighbor door, so that's negative lower, positive upper. Negative upper, positive lower. Okay, that is flipped. That is flipped for the two axes. I see. I see that now. I think. No, it's negative lower, positive upper in either case. As far as I can tell. I might be wrong, but... So we're talking about our neighbor. So negative, so if we have a negative y block neighbor, then we're the lower door. So if we don't have a negative, so we're the, and then positive, we're the upper, otherwise we're the lower. That's correct as far as I can tell. If we are the negative y block. So this is wrong. Lower. This should say lower. Oh, wait, this is a weird case. So what if we don't have a negative y door and we don't have a negative positive y door? This is an error here. This would be, we want a door tile with, What is it called? Form.invalid? No. What do we call it for the door? Door.form.invalid? Form equals. Actually, then we're just a single door. That case should never come up. Okay. Okay, I think I've got it. I should probably throw an error here rather than just silently correct for it. But it's an assignment, so it's a switch expression, so I need an assignment. I don't think I should just throw, although maybe I could throw. Can I throw from in here? Yeah, I can. Okay. For now, we're just gonna correct it silently. Alright, let's see what that does. No worries, chill imp. So in short, you're doing an apocalyptic, cyberpunk-like 2D game where you have your own hideout that you can upgrade, manage, and sustain mainly through deliveries from settlement to settlement and raiding buildings, cities, like a roguelike. Okay, cool. That sounds rad. So kind of like Zero Sievert, but not like an extraction shooter. Instead, it's like a survival crafting kind of game. Or something like that. Yeah. Okay, that sounds rad. Are you making it in Godot? Alright, moment of truth here. Let's see what the doors look like. I've either made it work or made it much worse. Okay, I think I made it correct. Alright, cool. We still need to handle the invalid door state problem. Where we can get into an invalid state with the doors, but who cares? Who cares for now? Okay, but that's correct now. The triple door is correct. All right, so initial refactor successful here. Well, that looks mostly correct. Okay. Yeah, you're practicing Godot with GDScript, though you might hop onto C# instead. You don't like the tab-focused part of it. Interesting. So you don't like... I mean, the interface sucks. In that, I don't like how the scene interface, which is like the tab up here... Oh, you mean tabs as in you don't like the Python style... You want curly braces and stuff. Fair enough. I do still think if you switch scenes, the script editor should jump to the script that's like attached to the scene, if there's one present, but it does not. So I'm often on the I'm in one scene and in another script, and I will trick myself up so much with that interface. But yeah, no, I get it. I get not liking the indent-based control flow of GDScript. That's reasonable. That's a reasonable problem. I'm definitely more comfortable with C#, but I'm also not interacting with the engine at all in my C# code, except in one script. This one script that happens to be a node. Kind of our doorway between the two worlds. Yeah, that's understandable. If you have a lot of C# experience, I don't begrudge you wanting to use that instead. I don't really mind. I do a lot of JavaScript in my day job, which is not, you know, it's not Python, but similarly, I've started to get pretty flexible on not worrying too much about braces and stuff. I try to be good when I'm doing GDScript. I try to do the typed version of GDScript. I try to declare my variable types and stuff. Yeah, I definitely prefer a statically typed language in every case. There's no world in which I would prefer dynamic typing. It's just so much pain. Okay, so we did that. So our refactor is done, which is sick. I'm gonna delete this huge function, this monolith of a function here. Get out of here. Let's clear 600 lines of code out of this script file here. I wonder how it's gonna work with the update grid tile map data. You're like a self-contained script, aren't you? All right, you are. So I guess we should try to refactor that one next, but we could also just not for now. For now, we could just, because the thing we want to eventually do is have the grid tiles. Well, no, I guess that's a separate pass no matter what. Get rid of this at least. We can save this. Let's make sure that this all works. You haven't used Python in a long time. You mainly work with PHP at work, so using GDScript feels like getting stabbed with a pretzel. Bearable, but it hurts. Yeah, it's something. In this project, I've pretty much limited my engagement with GDScript to be just rendering an UI, so I don't really touch it otherwise. All right, okay, the selection overlay stuff seems to work just fine. If I copy some of it, you can see the awkwardness of the cutaway system. I think if I'm doing this, I'd want to hide the walls at least. Maybe. At least the floor. I'd want to hide the floor above. Because right now it's just treating it as part of the scene. So like this that's following my mouse around is called the preview. And right now it exists in the same buffer as the committed stuff, which is this stuff, the stuff that's actually been planted down. And that I don't want. I want them to exist as separate buffers for a number of reasons. But I want the autotiler to get both of them. So that's kind of what we've been refactoring. So I guess so we've been applying the two buffers here like this. So what we need to do now is we need to split the buffers from a tool side. I don't really want to do that, but it's kind of the next step. The other thing we want to do that I need to do soon is I've kind of made a decision to like redesign the art a little bit. So We've been operating on this one style, this style here. We've had this kind of structure. I know I talked about this before, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But before we get too crazy with the art, because we're already working on new art types and like zoom in, zoom out stuff, I should actually think about how that would, what the consequences of that are for this. I think it's fine. What I want to do, so this is what we've been doing, is this. And it has these weird problems where, like, if I take this and I start to tessellate it, it overlaps on top, but not on the sides. So if I start to stack it, you'll see what's happening. So they overlap and share here, which mostly is fine. But the problem is I'm already running into situations where that's really bad. Like a great example would be just if you try to select, oh, hey, 69 SWRA. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? How are you doing? So the problem that I run into already is that if I build this little thing and then I select, but I don't select from up here. Instead I select from like down in here. Look how awkward that is. And it's because it's sharing, because they're sharing those edges, the tile above is overwriting what's below. And it's not good. This comes up a lot in a number of circumstances, and it's not good. Like if we add another, let's say we add another wall here, another couple layers of wall just for fun. And let's say you happen to select partially inside the wall like this. Well, look what happens. Oh, that actually works. There's a case in which that doesn't work. I guess it's like this. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there should be a white line along the edge there, and there is not, because it's being overwritten by the block in front of it. So if we get rid of this problem, if we get rid of this kind of overlap, which only happens vertically, you see horizontally we just get a double outline. We can fix that by doing this. So instead of that, we can rewrite this a little bit so that, let's bring this up. Expand this by 1 here. And then bring this down. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch to this style. This style. And this style is interesting because if you start to tessellate it like over there, it behaves differently. So now you see the double outline on the side and on top. And like you might be concerned that we might the outlining is too strong, but the autotiler does not create outlines between homogeneous surfaces, so these outlines would go away. It would only be present for different surfaces. And so this solves a lot of these problems. Even if I stack vertically like this, we get like this. Or we should. Why is this a different height? Oh yeah, no, like this. Right? I'm actually not sure. So why are you like this and you extend up to here? I actually have to double check something. I'm pretty sure we can do this. So that's 8. If I stack you like this should be the same. 6. Oh, okay, I think I made a mistake when I was setting this up. So when we create this thing, we actually need this to be shorter. I think, like this. I think we need it to be like this. So that when we do that, it's the same. 10. Oh, did I make it longer and I just shouldn't have done that? I might have made it a little longer. Is it right now? No, now it's 6. I think I did 1 pixel too far. So we want it to actually be like this. There we go. Now it should fill the same amount of space. That should be fine. I'm a little concerned about if that starts to drift over time. Yeah, I'm tempted to switch over to this slightly different block, just so that we don't have this overlapping problem. Well, now we have a triple outline here. That's too far. Yeah, I have to think through the consequences of this. I want to do it, but clearly I need to think through it a little bit. Make sure I do it correctly. Like, there's a reason we went with this, because it was easy. So maybe it does need to be like this. Oh, does it actually need to be like this? Am I just incorrect with the way I'm drawing this? Does it need to be like this? Probably, right? I don't love that. But would that tessellate the correct way? Yeah, so this would replace this, like that. And then this would go like that. And then so this is not cut off. And this isn't cut off either. So that would fix a lot of the problems that we're seeing. It is taller somehow, which is a bit of a problem. But that's maybe fixable. So should this just be... Should we do both? Maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. Should it be like this? Can I have my cake and eat it too here? That feels better. I don't love what's going on here. Just enormous outline. But will this actually tessellate correctly? Is this 8? Okay, so this retains consistency when copying around, and it fixes the problem. Ooh, does it fix the problem? It does not fix the problem. Okay, never mind. So we can't do that. I'm actually not quite sure how we're supposed to deal with this. So if we make it 1 pixel shorter. Oh, I can't just make it 1 pixel shorter. We have to do it this way. I call this refactoring because we're refactoring the art to achieve a specific goal. And this is one of those things that's just going to get more and more painful over time to do, so we might as well do it now. Is this consistent? Please tell me it is. 9. Okay, so I have to do some tests to see if we can tessellate this the same way and still retain our non-overlapping outlines. The overlapping outlines were kind of nice, but especially if we move to a non-outlined world someday. Like right now, the outlines are cool because everything is very flat. It's painted it's shaded entirely flat, so the outlines are nice because they give us a lot of shape. But if you'll notice, only the background objects really have outlines. Things that you interact with, like characters, consoles, these are mostly too small. Even the big screens, These really aren't outlined. Like this is like a shadow it's supposed to be. It serves a similar purpose as an outline, but so I don't know. I'm actually not convinced we're going to always be doing outline stuff. So I would like to switch to a style that is flexible where there isn't this overlap, because if there's an overlap and the outline isn't there, then we have this conflict between things. Hey, Rhiannon Journey, how's it going? How have you been? Happy Tuesday. We're agonizing a little bit over a potential art change here. You know, I don't actually need to worry about boxes tessellating correctly because that's not the actual test. The actual test is this. So if we grab this, let's go down into the bottom right where we have a lot of space. So this is the old way. And then, oh, we actually wanted this one. So this is how it currently works. So to tessellate this, we actually do this. We grab this. We just need to make sure that if we swap the art, we can still tile it correctly. 8. So this is how it would look if we actually started tiling it. This is what it would be, because it's floor wall, floor wall. So this is what you would normally get with this setup. So what we're talking about doing maybe I should hold on. You're doing good. Lazy day inside. It's pouring outside. That sounds nice. I would like some rain. When I was in Boston, it rained quite a bit, which was a bummer because I wanted to walk around and see the city, but it just reminded me how little it rains in San Francisco for most of the year nowadays. It's very sad. Definitely global warming related. Okay, so this is how it would look to tile this with the current art, and what we're talking about doing is switching over to something like this. Art streams are fun. You're working on programming reports, so it's a good distraction. Oh, good. We were just doing some code refactoring. We laid all the groundwork for being able to accept multiple block buffers, like have the preview blocks stored separately from the settled blocks, the blocks that have actually been placed and committed. And so we can accommodate, at least in theory, multiple blocks writing the same tile data. We haven't implemented that yet because I feel like we're going to need a merge. We're going to need some merge logic, which we already have in the tool system. But I feel like what I need to do is I need to put the block merge logic on the block itself. Like, it needs to be an aspect of the block component, like a static function. Like, you put two blocks together and it merges them. I think that's what we need. Unless we want different systems to merge blocks differently, which actually is possibly what we want. Because when a tool system merges blocks because you're trying to place them over the other, that might be different than when you're trying to auto tile conflicting block buffers. Would we ever want to do that differently? Maybe. My answer is a strong maybe. All right, so what I'm talking about changing art-wise is this. Talking about changing... I don't love this. But this is maybe what we need to do. Not really sure how we would do it otherwise. So in theory, in my mind, we just shorten these. Or I guess elongate them is what you would actually want to do. So this is right now 16 by 12. But this one 16 by 28. Just a little weird when you think about it. And yet they play nicely, which is kind of fascinating. I guess that's the thing that I need to... That's what I need to make sure tessellates correctly is the overall combination block. It's not the blocks separate. So the combination block needs to ultimately be the same size. And so if I'm shortening this by 1, the others need to be increased. Oh, maybe we can't actually do it this way. Can we get this to overlap correctly like this though? Because I don't think so. I think the answer is no. Excuse me. So what we want to do is we want to stop the overlapping. I know I keep repeating myself over and over and over again, but it's part of the process. So for this to work, no matter what, for it to go like this. So this is already busted. You could see, like, we can just draw a line. Oh, maybe we can't. But you can kind of see this goes down 1/4, 1/4, and now we're desynced. So to get these to play nice, they need to be shorter. Like this. Maybe I'm changing the wrong thing. Because if I change the floor tile, that's 1 pixel, and that's an odd number, and that will always be irreconcilable. But if I change these, can I make that reconcilable? Maybe. The answer is maybe. I want to look at the tile map for a second. So when we're talking about the tile map here, it's all about this shape. So this shape needs to not change, I think. If it changes, we have a problem. So I might not actually be able to do this change that I have in mind. Because this is kind of just, this is the shape of things. And so if I change this, that's all bad. So maybe we actually can't do this. There actually is maybe another step. Was there another process we need to deal with, to handle the differences? Because I actually don't think I can change this unless I fundamentally change the T-res. But I kind of like the tile size being 32 by 8. Like, what would I even do to fix this? I'd have to make it some weird, very weird thing. Like traditional isometric would be 32 by 16. So, okay. So I think we've eliminated any possibility of changing this upper piece. I don't think we can do that. And if we can't do that, can we achieve our goal? Because the issue that we're trying to address is this. Don't save this. There you go. We're trying to work our way around some outlining issues, and there are other solutions. Like we could make the autotiler smarter and figure this out for us, but it would increase the burden for the system generating the tile sets. So if we do this, and let's say I select this like this, and I go down like this. Great. Got all of this selected. Perfect. It looks good. It looks fine. However, if instead of selecting the floor above, I only select this floor, well, that looks weird. That's not really how I would like it to be. Similarly, if you try to select partway into a wall, like if we select like this, and then I cut away. Yeah, you don't see the edge of this selection until you hide this. So the things that, so I could fix this. Well, here's the other thing. So why does this work? Oh, okay. So it works on the floor. So I got it to work on the floor, and I know how I got it to work on the floor. I got it to work on the floor because I changed this. All default combined, question mark? Yeah, so this is really hard to see. Let me turn the background on. That's not much easier. So what I did is you can see the non-outline spaces, but if you look at the regular hull, like this one, you don't. The regular hull is hidden. Hide the select. So the outlines are strong, but when you have a space that's not an outline, you don't have any texture there. And that's what lets us achieve our overlap. Like they physically overlap, but we don't draw so that the thing underneath can show through. Maybe that's the solution. Is we just need to be more careful. And I actually think I understand how that would work. That would involve basically redoing that same effect here on these sorts of things. Will that work? And so that would mean basically hiding. Okay, that would be hiding something. Okay. So if I was to test that, best way to test that. Let's test it on here on the outer hull. And we're going to test it by oh, we are only hiding the top as well. We're not hiding the bottom pieces. Why? Oh, because the thing below is the thing further down along the transform. Why does this song keep playing? Or do I actually like this song? No, I don't have an opinion about it. Okay, kind of interesting how this works, the way that it does. Oh, wait, am I not looking at the correct thing? No, I am. So we do this. So we actually, I see exactly how we do this. So we're going to go here. We're going to take these bottom pieces and we're going to hide them. The only real question is whether we include little bits at the edge like this? I'm going to say we do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. This is what we're going to try. And if this doesn't work, no harm. No great harm in trying this. A little bit of art refactoring here. I'm a little concerned about the tips here. So we'll figure that out. All right, we're heading. It looks like we're heading into our first ad break here. I'm just gonna try this out here. So your hull default outer. So if I overwrite you, what do we get? What does that look like? If I then try here. So if I do this, I grab this thing. I make this. Okay, so we're gonna need to correct some other things because of that. That's okay. Let's see if the selection thing works at least. Okay, the selection thing works. You can see the top line. The problem is the black line is showing up everywhere. And that's a bit of a problem. So that would involve fixing what? Okay, so that fixes that version. What would we need to fix this problem? Thanks for the hydrate, Rhiannon. Okay, so we'd also need to fix it there to get this to work. Okay. Ooh. That doesn't show. This doesn't show here either. I really don't want the autotiler to have to think about this. I don't want to have to think about conflicting layers like this. I would like conflicting layers. I mean, I guess that's technically what the autotiler is for, but I don't want to have to write out tile sets for every layer against for every kind of mask against every other mask, because this is like a simple white overlay thing, but you could imagine we have like a different kind of overlay that's like for empty space, and it shows like dropping oxygen levels or something. I mean, we could do that with a shader in theory, but it might be better to just put a block of color in the space. And you don't want all of those to fight. Okay, so yeah, this is a bit of a problem. So can I pull these both back by 1, and does that solve my problem? So if I shorten that by 1, and I shorten this by 1, and I shorten these, I guess I could do these at the same time, also by 1. Does this solve my problem? Which I can functionally do here by just doing like this. So if I start trying to tessellate these, I don't think it works. Maybe it does. So we're going to try... Oops, I did the wrong one first. So if we do this like this so that there's this extra space, what does this look like? It's 39 pixels. That's not right. This is going to be 40. Yep. Okay. If I do the opposite. Hey, Steuben Hawker, how's it going? How are you doing? We're doing some refactors. At the moment, we're trying to refactor some art. See if we can get this to work right. How many pixels is this? Is this 40? 41. We're trying to get rid of some overlap that we have with our current art, where if you notice, if we start stacking these things, they overlap a certain way. They overlap vertically, but not horizontally. So as you add panels to the side, you see the double outlines. But as you add blocks on top of each other, the outlines converge. And that's causing some problems with the outlining we're trying to do. So we're thinking of alternatives. Some of the alternatives we're considering is painting a little different, just painting the tiles a little different, but treating them as if they're the same size that they currently are. And painting them a little different so that tiles underneath them can overwrite them. The other thing we could probably do to fix this is to just do a little bit more fine-grained Z-index stuff. That's probably the correct way to change this. So let's revert these changes because they weren't sufficient. It kind of worked, but I don't think we can apply it in the other situations that we would want to. So let's revert that change. Quiet day today. I don't mind. I'm like really low on energy today. Stubenhocker. You've not really been paying attention on how I draw the outlines, but what about drawing the thing you want to outline 4 times in full white, and then your selected thing without an offset in the middle? Oh, you're thinking of outline differently than what we're talking about. You're thinking of this kind of an outline, yeah? This is essentially what we do for the crew member. This we're just doing in a in a in a shader. Where are we even doing that? So like this kind of thing, this is what you're talking about? Like a typical shader outline. That'll like follow him around as he moves. Yeah, we're doing something slightly different. We're not outlining in the fact that we're not trying to expand beyond the area. It's an outline, but it's like a lot. It's not like past the thing. Diginanigans, you keep dipping in and out, and you're only half grasping whatever I've got going on at any point in time. I have barely any grasp on what's going on at any point in time. Yeah. So what we're doing something slightly different with this stuff. We're basically trying to replace the black outlines with white outlines in certain circumstances on certain sides. So it's not something that's quite as easy to do with a shader. We're doing it as part of the autotiler. I'm just trying to not have to have the autotiler mess around with unnecessary neighbor cells, because that just means the tile set is that much more complicated. So for this kind of stuff, we're trying to just, so like this works all fine. This is all good. We're happy with something like this. It's just this, maybe it's literally a Z indexing problem. It's not exactly a Z indexing problem, but maybe it is. Maybe we need to take half steps along the Z index stuff so that, because if I select like this, watch, it's not outlined on all 4 sides. And so I could have the autotiler look at this tile above us and then add an outline for that tile. So we could fix this with just the autotiler, but that would mean defining that many more tiles, which is not a terrible solution. There's also another case where it doesn't work like this. Like this. So this also doesn't work. I mean, it just straight up doesn't work along the walls here. You can't see the edge of this selection until you hide the wall. And the same thing goes on this side. So I would just like to be able to see these little outlines. I would like them to overwrite the other tile. It's just the question of doing that in a way that's the least work. And I think one possible solution would be just fiddling with Z indexes. So we create, like, we say something where, like, these regular tiles have, like, even-spaced Z indexes, or even-numbered Z indexes, and then overlays will have, like, odd-numbered Z indexes. That still means there might be conflict between overlays, but that's fine. If that happens, if you're like, I have 2 different overlays and I need to decide how they get rendered together, that's a separate problem. And that would be a problem either way. But at least if we just do some clever Z indexing, maybe this can work. Let's try that. That would be the most straightforward solution for sure. Sorry, I'm dealing with a text message here real quick. Something little that needs to be done now. Oh, I like this song. How are you doing, Stephen Hawker? All right, so let's try to fix this with z-indexing. So right now I've allocated 4 z-indexes for every level. So like level 7 has a z-index of 0, level 6 has a z-index of 4, and it just goes up from there. So can I... So grid level consists of these different layers. So can I just mess around with this here? Whole level. So like this is a 0 for decks, 2 for bulks, 2 for doors. So what if I did... I'm very concerned about how this is going to work. I think this is going to not work, but I want to try it because this would save us a lot of effort if it does work. So we're going to try to use odd numbered steps for the overlay. See if that just works. I don't think it will, but we could maybe pad them. We could maybe create enough distance between the different z-indexes that it will just work. It just might. This exact set of numbers will probably not work. In fact, I'm not even sure how the... Oh, right now this level is just getting drawn over the other level because of its ordering in the scene tree. So right now they have identical z-indexes, and the elastic levels thing are just getting overwritten. Or they're being drawn over.
Was impeccable, Captain.
Hey, JD. I don't think so. We'll see. I disagree. But I appreciate the vote of confidence. How's it going? Steuben, you're losing your mind over layering UI code still. It's funky spaghetti, but you can't think of a better way to do it. Yeah. Finicky spaghetti. Funky spaghetti sounds accurate still. Yeah, UI, I don't know. UI is kind of rough in every engine, I feel. All right, so let's try this. This is not going to work, but let's see. Let's figure out the way in which it doesn't work. Yeah, that did nothing that I wanted. It didn't solve this problem that we have here. Did it solve this problem? No, it solved no problems. How did that have literally no effect? That's a little confusing. Problem is, if this selection thing is gonna draw over this wall, it's also gonna draw over these walls. Like there actually isn't a way to do this with z-indexing. Z-indexing is not a fine enough thing. I mean, maybe I do need to increase the autotiler to basically look. It would check this wall, see if there's the floor below it, and over here is like overlaid, and if it is, it would like add an overlay tile here. I don't love that, but the autotiler could deal with that. That would work to fix some of this outline conflict here. There is that other solution, though. There is another solution. All right. We could go back to that other thing we were trying. Let's revert the changes we made here. Revert the changes, please. Funky Spaghetti sounds like a wrestler from the 80s who wore a fedora on an afro and dressed in a pinstripe suit. Yeah. Fiskfin! Hey, how's it going? Oh no, Funky Spaghetti is going for the cheese grater attack. Yeah. Like an old-timey, like Italian, a 70s disco Italian wrestler. Yeah. It's going good, Fiskfin. How are you? We're doing some refactoring. We refactored some code, and now we're refactoring some art. All right, so yeah, I think the best way to do this is to just fiddle with the tile atlases in such a way where we are hiding the edges, because we're already handling this case here on the floor. Like if you look at a floor, we're not running into the same problem. So in the sense that we have this problem here, where we lay this out, and then we try to select, and then tiles that get rendered above kind of hide the selection outline. So like I would like all 4 edges of this light gray box to be outlined, but it's not because the floor above it is like hiding it. So we fixed this in the floor. This is not a problem in the floor. It should be. The tiling works the same way, but we fixed this by basically making the edges of some of these floor pieces transparent. And that is something we could do here. It's deeply questionable and would actually maybe also require reworking the autotiler to a little bit of an extent, but it would work. The question is, do I want to do that? Or do I want to just accept this kind of awkward look? I think the answer is I want to do it. It would at least fix some of these cases. It wouldn't fix all of them. But we could go case by case, and if we can deal with most of the cases, maybe we don't care about the remaining edge cases. Like, the thing I really want to do is have the white outline here, but doing that involves making the bottom of the wall here semi-transparent. Actually, totally transparent. That actually would be totally fine. JD, you've got a 2-year affiliate anniversary celebration Saturday. I'm invited. Bring a friend or 300. Awesome. I will not be streaming Saturday. I got the San Francisco, like the Bay Area Godot meetup is Saturday, and then there's a showcase that night at like a local arcade bar. But if you're streaming, depending on when you're streaming, I'll hop in. I will help celebrate. I don't have any friends though, sorry, to bring. If you wanted someone with friends, you should be talking to someone else. Funny how this works in this case. I guess I understand why it would work in that case. All right. Let's fix these cases one by one until we're happy. Or the closest we're going to get to happy. So the obvious thing to do is to just fix the corners here. Not the corners, the lower edges, to just hide the lower edges. Come hang out for a while. You're starting around 9 a.m. Central. Okay, yeah, that's plenty early for me. I'll be hanging out, prepping my laptops and stuff. I got to try to get a jam game that I made onto my Steam Deck so I can show it there on the Steam Deck. So that'll be fun. That's probably what I'll be doing. Something that I should do earlier in the week, but we'll leave to the last minute. But yeah, that's awesome. I'll come by. Congrats. Just demo Memori since Practical is never going to release it. I don't know. They were saying June. We'll see. June seems soon. We'll see. I mean, I'm never going to release a game, so I'm not one to... There's so many tools to make and so little time. That's part of the reason why I'm just going to show jam games at this showcase. I'm like, if anyone has feedback, I'm like, I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind for next time. These games are finished. These games are done. I'm never touching them ever again. All right, so this, I probably need to export the file. Hey, still needs work. He said June, but didn't say June of what year. That's a good point. It's a good point. How's it going? Still needs work. Haven't caught one of your streams yet, but it's exciting that you're streaming. All right, so this one edge case should be taken care of now. Oh, but it causes this. Right. Okay, so fixing this one problem causes another problem. That sounds right. So we have the white outline now. Maybe this doesn't matter. Maybe I really don't care about this. Because if your mouse cursor... Okay, so how would I fix this black outline that's everywhere? It's the bulk Z. The bulk Z is the determining tile here, I think. So yeah, there's the bulk X and bulk Y. Bulk Z layer renders on top of those layers, and that's the layer that has this black outline. And that black outline is showing through because we've hidden... God, I really want to avoid having to accommodate for masks in the autotiler like this. It seems like the most obvious solution. What if I follow the logical conclusion to this other case and we see what... Let's see the full breadth of our problems here before we commit to a solution. So the other logical thing to do would be to change this. Change this the same way. Hey, Mr. Ed Makes, how's it going? Welcome in. Fiddling with some tile sets here to get some various overlays working correctly with the underneath layers. JD, you're wrapping up, getting ready for stream? Nice. You stream at some different times, huh? It's not like a totally fixed schedule, is it? Or is it like later on weekdays, early on weekends kind of thing? I try to keep to generally the same time, regardless of whether it's the work day or the weekend, but maybe I should try some different times. I'd get different people. You usually do nights on weekdays and daytime morning on weekends. Oh, that's nice. All right, so this should solve yet another case, but I'm almost certain it will cause yet other problems. So now if we select up to the edge here, what? No? Oh. That's not sufficient. What if I go down here now? Oh, I made everything so much worse. So that was wrong. That was the wrong approach to take. Oh yeah, that is not good. Maybe it's just the overlay that would need to do additional. I guess that would be fine if we just make the overlay do additional work. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get like this line along the edge here to render, and we could just have the autotiler draw a line along that lower edge. Like it could just be part of the selection. That would be okay. At least for just these kinds of simple overlays. Since it would just be simple line work. And we already have a different workflow for the overlays. All right, so it feels like the best thing to do because these are very picky things and there are issues with the... I'm going to undo the changes I made again because that's what I do. Try stuff and then realize it's not going to work and then undo it. And then try it again. All right, so the only issue that I have with this approach is that I want the selection overlay. Like right now, it's just flat. I kind of wanted it to be more... I kind of wanted it to be something that we could generate for the different tiles. Like this isn't something I want to have to draw out for every single tile thing. It's something I want to be able to generate based on the underlying tile sets. So if anything, I actually need to undo this other change. I need to undo this change because this change, while it doesn't have any consequences, it's the symptom of the same problem that we're running into elsewhere. So I'd rather have a solution that's consistent and works with all of these cases rather than just take this piecemeal approach. So we're going to actively make things worse for a second here. So that's what we do. That's what we do. Things have to get worse before they can get better, I guess. finish filling these back in. I would like to figure something else out for the way these tiles work. I just don't know. I think we kind of lucked into the only pattern that we could tessellate cleanly. It's just weird that it involves, that it requires an overlap. We can't do it without overlapping cleanly. I mean, maybe I just need to do some more experiments. Because that would solve this problem. If we could get rid of the overlaps, that would also solve this problem. And that's kind of why that was my initial plan with all this. That would be the cleanest thing to do. It's just very difficult. I don't know how to do that in a way that just works. So we need to end up with something that's a multiple of 8. Still needs work. If I stream at different times, you could add a translator for those who come in that don't speak much English. Oh. Is that something that people have? Like a Twitch add-on or something? I've never seen anything like that. I've seen closed captions. Yeah, I guess closed captions does some kind of machine translation. Stubenhocker, how do these cubes translate to final textured cubes? Are you sacrificing general gameplay art for editor outlines? No, I don't think so. So right now we're only dealing with like block cubes like this, but they're going to be diversified into all these kinds of different shapes. Like these are all the straight line slopes that I'm working on, that I've worked out. And there's some bigger ones too for like if you want to slope across the whole thing. So there are going to be a lot of different shapes. The outline thing is something we're doing right now because the texturing is flat and there's no lighting. So it's like a really good way to define shapes. But we were talking about it earlier, and if you look at like our art piece here, we really only have the outlines on like the doors and the walls. We really don't use outlines on anything that has any level of detail, like the characters, the chairs, the consoles, the screens. So I actually find the outline quite questionable in the long run as a thing that we're going to continue to lie on. It feels like a crutch right now just to get good looking stuff. But if you think about it, a black outline in space makes almost no sense because you just won't see it. Like, I think I have an alternative version of the bridge. Still needs work. The one you have runs in a browser and then it becomes a source in OBS. Okay, so it's a browser source that you can plug in. And it's like just a live machine translator thing for then like a closed captioning or something. That'd be cool. If that becomes an issue, I will definitely resort to something like that. I'm a little hesitant. I think everyone's a little hesitant to use machine translation because, like, you don't know how it works. You don't know what it's doing. You don't know what the result ends up being. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Does it really matter? So bridge mock-up. This one. So, like, if you look at this, and this has, like, the black outline. And it's, like, a slightly lighter black than the black of space. So you can kind of see it, but, like, I question this in the long run. This kind of a thing. This is kind of an alternative coloring for the bridge scene. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to end up keeping the black outlines. But it still represents a fundamental problem. Colors. Hey, Fusionist. It still represents this fundamental problem where there's overlap. Like, to stack these, you lose... Like, two of these faces share this pixel. And, like, that's generally fine. But clearly, we are running into cases where it's not fine. So... And if you start stacking things sideways, they don't. Like, this has its... So this outline here is here. And this one's outline is here. It's intact. There's none of this overlap stacking thing. So if I can figure out a way to tessellate my tiles without having that vertical stacking in a way that works consistently, that would be good. I would be happy with that. That would be a good thing. I don't know if that's doable in every case. Like, I'm not sure if that's doable, especially in a case like this where you have, like, this diagonal thing. Like, what would this even look like? It would be like this. So it'd be higher up than the floor underneath it. Does that mean the floor takes up a pixel? Like, how do you reconcile that? If I do this, which already doesn't work, obviously, and then I do this, that's like, what is that even? How does this even? So yeah, I want to explore the possibility more. I just haven't figured it out. And clearly, the painting the tiles differently or making them semi-transparent is not the solution, because that's complicated. I mean, that might be the thing we eventually do. Those are Star Trek-y outfits, aren't they? Yeah, they are pretty Star Trek-y. I'm actually a little concerned about how Star Trek-y I'm making them. Literal edge cases. Yeah, exactly, Fusionist. Yeah, they are literal edge cases. Yeah, they're really frustrating. And, like, no one's going to notice. I actually just made them a lot worse. We just reverted to change. There's... Oh, Jesus. What did I do? I think I exported this with this on and this on. Let's fix that. Okay, yeah, I fixed it. How are you doing, Fusionist? But yeah, I'm thinking about the Star Trek thing, and it's kind of an issue because I kind of want to have, like, archetypes. I want you to be like, oh, you're the science or the medical officer, like you're the engineering or the security, and like those are Star Trek divisions with Star Trek uniforms, and I feel like I can't get too close to that. I feel like if I get too close to that, I'm gonna get into a little bit of trouble. Like if I literally have red shirts and blue shirts and yellow shirts, and I assign them similar things. So I don't know. We're probably going to need to either soften the uniform thing or go in a direction where the uniforms are less common. They serve a good gameplay purpose, the uniforms, because it's like you could at a glance see whether you've got an engineer or not. So here's the selection problem we're talking about. You don't see it correctly. So like here, it's not being rendered correctly on the edge. Here, it's not being rendered correctly on the edge. If I go up to this wall, it's not going to be rendered correctly on the edge. Oh, that's even worse. Why is that happening? I might have messed up the selection layer. Select. Background. This one actually might need these taken away. You're doing all right. You're visiting family in France since last week. Oh, that's nice. You wouldn't worry about the uniforms? Yeah. Depends on how hard I lean into all of it, I guess. It probably doesn't matter, though. You're probably right. I'm good. I've been so busy. I feel like I've had such a busy week, and it's like just Tuesday. So this will probably be on the shorter side of my streams, because there's still so much left to do before the end of the workday. But I'm hoping things will slow down soon. I'm kind of done traveling for a while. Like, GodotCon Boston was last week, and it was great. But I'm probably not going to do any more traveling for, like, hopefully until maybe the end of summer. Maybe a little bit of local stuff, but I'm really not trying to go anywhere. I just need to find some time to knock out some work and then just chill. Enjoy the nice seasons coming up, the summer and all that stuff. All right, let's see if this fixes it. I didn't think I needed to do this. I might have made a mistake on the other layer. It's maybe what's actually happening. But I'm gonna just try this. We'll revert it if it doesn't work. Oops. No, we don't want to replace it while it's still got the background. There you go. No, damn it. I replaced the wrong layer. There we go. All right. Did I fix everything? You weren't around last week for travels? Decent timing with GodotCon. Oh, yeah. Rhiannon, the Orville TV show used different color uniforms designating different departments. It's probably okay. Oh, yeah. I'm not concerned about that as a concept. I'm concerned about using the exact same departments and designations as Star Trek. Any highlights for that event? Oh, there was some great stuff. Bad Cop gave this amazing talk about this new doing like Twitch stream stuff, like using Godot to make this like Minority Report style interface. It was super cool. I got to meet a bunch of Twitch streamers. That was really cool, like JD and Just Covino and developer Ezra. So that was fun. I got to hang out with a lot of people that I'm aware of in, you know, digital space, but that I haven't ever met in a flesh space before. But it was a really cool scene. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. I kind of like this effect I've created here. Does it work correctly on the edges? It does not. Why not? I like this kind of tiled effect I accidentally created, where you can kind of see the outline, the different grid patterns. I still have to fix the, you know, the lower outline, but this is one of the problems we're trying to address. I had fixed it using a tweak, but I'm trying to find a more general solution than just tweaking things. All right, why isn't this one case done? I probably missed it. It's probably what I did. Doot. Which case did I miss? It looks like I got them all. Huh. It's very clear that this case doesn't cause the thing to happen. The fun thing. Zombie? Zombie what, Fusionist? Well, hopefully Star Trek don't own any colors like Pantone. That's a good point. That's a good point. I should watch the Orville, Rhiannon. Oh, which JD? Ah, I see. No, JD does dev. They were here earlier. And they're also having their 2-year affiliate anniversary this weekend. That's cool. All right, so I don't understand. I got all the cases, so why doesn't it work the way I'm expecting it to? Let me try that again. Yeah, why is it that side doesn't do it, but the other side does? I definitely messed something up. I just don't... I can't visualize what it was. I do like this effect, though. This little grid effect we've got going. I think we had it before, but it was different. Oh, weird. Oh, it's here. But when I do it at the edge, it's different. What? Did I mess up and I like painted some things on this layer? No, this is fine. Oh, I didn't finish this part. I see. I missed a spot on this layer, and it was causing things to go weird on the other layer. That explains things. Well, I kind of that. I kind of liked it the way it was. Oops. Now we'll just fix this problem that we made over here. I need to experiment with tiling, with tessellating different shapes and see if I can get something stable with another shape than the shape that I kind of coincidentally figured out. Oh, the other JD is also from Boston and streams. Oh, fascinating. I did not meet that JD. They may have been there as far as as much as I don't know. They could have been there for sure. Yeah, it was a great event. Oh, so now we don't get the fun thing. I thought we would have gotten it just from additive blending stuff, but I guess not. Okay, well, I'm gonna add that back because that was cool. What I should think about is my eventual art workflow that I want, because I really want to create some kind of workflow where I can define like the 4 sides of a shape, like these 4 sides or something like that. So I define these 4 sides in some order, like probably this order or something like it, like 4 rotations of the same shape. And then I have a system that breaks that up into parts of a tile atlas. I would like that. I would like that a lot. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Someone at the door. Oops. Extreme close-up. There we go. But yeah, I really want a workflow that lets me define like a 3D, kind of lets me define an object in 3D or draw the sides of it. And then I can extract the like tiles. Like I can extract these pieces automatically from the object. I would really love a solution like that. And then similarly, we would need a way of outlining those objects. So I don't know. I'm thinking about using a system kind of like normal mapping, but doing it to like mark the different parts of a side. So it's kind of a lot like normal mapping. I would probably do it more correctly than this, but this was just a mock-up using the palette that I actually have. And I don't know how much detail I'm going to put into the lines and stuff, but or how much detail I need. Like, do I have to mark each edge like this? If so, that's kind of rough because the corner pieces actually behave very weirdly. Or something like this sufficient? So these are the questions that I need to answer. But yeah, I'm going to keep working on the tessellation thing, or we need to find a solution to this. I've actually got to go find some lunch. I've got a work meeting starting soon. So we're probably going to wrap it up soon for the day. Sorry I started so late and have to wrap up early, but, you know, I did say it's been a week. It's been busy. So what I would like to do, I enjoyed this. I want to go back to erase. I want to erase these again. I know I keep making changes, reverting them, making changes, reverting them. You know, that's experimentation sometimes. So I'm gonna do that one more time because then we'll at least have our fun little checkerboard look, which I enjoyed. We'll probably end up doing that a different way, but I could have sworn that these would have added together, but I guess it makes sense that they don't. Yeah, it actually does make a lot of sense that they don't. I don't know why I thought they would do that. I could probably set them up in such a way that they did, but it's actually better that they don't. Hey, just shenanigans, have a good one. Not sure how much you'll catch this week. You're pretty busy. Yeah, no worries. I get it. I hope you do too, shenanigans. Take it easy. Oh. Starting my first ad snooze here. I was saying how everything is coming together over time. Yeah, I'm glad people mentioned that to me because I'm too close to it and I don't see the differences really very often. Like I'm too close to the project. And so it doesn't always feel like it's coming together over time, but it's nice when people pop in and, you know, have the perspective to mention that. Definitely helps. So I appreciate that. I'll see you next time. Or sometime. All right, we're going to try this. See if I at least restored that fun little checkerboard effect, which I enjoyed. Okay, yeah, I do like this checkerboard look. We got to deal with the outlining, though. Like, there should be a white outline along here. Which I did have. I rolled back the effect that let that happen. It was basically the same kind of thing as this, where you cut away edges. I guess that would actually be fine to do, because I'm doing it everywhere else, huh? That'll probably be my solution for that part. But we have some other stuff we need to figure out. But I've got to actually wrap it up. I got to go get some lunch and get to this meeting. But that's fine. We did the main thing we wanted to do, which was refactoring the code to accept, to lay the groundwork for multiple block buffers, writing to the same tile map data. We haven't gotten that far, but we did the refactor part. And that was pretty easy. So lucky us that that kind of just worked with very little effort and debugging. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be streaming every day this week, except Saturday. Because I got some events, some in-person events on Saturday, but we'll be back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we're just getting started with what I'm calling Refactor Week, where we don't really do anything terribly new. We're just kind of sorting stuff out to make it easier to work with in the future. Have a good one. Thanks, Rhiannon and Journey. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye.